Hi, everyone. Welcome to this restorative movement session for the heart. I am Coach Danny. Thank you so much for joining me. This class is all about focusing in on our heart because February is Heart Health Month. And while I know it's the end of the month, heart health is so important all year long. So I hope that this class will help you to incorporate some more heart healthy movements into your exercise and well-being routine. So for this class, all you really need is yourself, your heart, and your yoga mat. And if you'd like, have some water close by. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go to our mat and start in a standing position with a body scan. All right, so on our mat, go ahead and take a couple of steps in place. And then just let your feet land wherever they land. Take a breath in and exhale. Take another breath in and exhale. Feel free to close your eyes. We're going to move through a whole body scan. So we're going to start at the feet. I want you to bring your attention to the bottom of your feet, the soles of your feet, and just notice where your weight is on your feet. Is it on the inside, the outside, the front, the back? And while we go through this scan, just a reminder that there is no right or wrong, just what you experience, just what you observe in your body. Think about this as just an observation, collecting data, noticing what your body feels. Go ahead and move into the ankles. Notice how your ankles feel in relation to your feet. And then move into the calves, the shins, the lower leg. Notice your knees. How do your knees sit in relation to the rest of your leg? Do they feel the same from one side to the other, or do they feel slightly different? And then moving up into the thigh bone, notice how your thigh feels. Notice all the muscles around your thigh and how it connects into your knee, and how your knee connects into the rest of the leg. Continue to bring that attention up into the hip. So bringing the attention into the hip joint, the ball and socket joint of the hip. What do you notice there? Simply taking note of what is. And then bring the attention up into the pelvis, to your pelvic bowl, and pull yourself up a little higher over your pelvis as if you were taking a bird's eye view down into your pelvic floor, and just see what is there. What is happening in your pelvic floor? What do you notice? Is there any rotation or tilting from one side to the other? Do they feel the same? And then take your attention around the back to your SI joint, so to your sacrum, where your sacrum and your pelvis meet. And then from there, follow your spine up the back, all the way into the lumbar spine, your low back, your mid back, all the way up into the neck. What do you notice? What do you notice about your posture? And again, this is not necessarily an opportunity for you to fix anything or for you to adjust your posture. Just notice where you are in space. How do you stand naturally? Notice what is there. No need to fix or judge. Do you notice any rotation in your spine as you move up your spine? Do you notice any places where maybe you feel the energy gets stuck? Do you feel any bending from one side to the other? Just notice what is there. And then bringing your attention to the shoulders. So think your collarbone, your shoulder blades, your shoulder joint. A lot of times when we hold a lot of tension in our heart space, we feel that in the shoulders. We can carry a lot on our shoulders. Then bring your attention to your neck and your head. Notice how your head and neck fit in relation to the rest of the body. What do you notice? What do you feel? And lastly, taking a look just above the head at your head space. What do you experience there? What does your head space feel like in relation to the rest of your body? And then go ahead and take a breath in. And exhale. Feel free to flutter your eyes open, bring your attention back into the room, and go ahead and take your left hand to your heart. And then take your right hand over your heart. We're going to just bring awareness to our heart before we move into the rest of class. Taking a breath in. And then just giving your heart a little hug. So on the exhale, just pressing down into your sternum, just giving your heart a little extra support, bringing some more awareness in the brain space to your heart. And as we bring awareness to our heart, I want you to also bring to mind any emotions that you may be feeling that are making your heart feel heavy. Oftentimes those emotions feel like betrayal, unworthiness, not feeling like you're good enough, not feeling like you are appreciated or cared for. All of those emotions make our heart feel heavy. And through this class, I want you to not be afraid to feel those emotions. We oftentimes want to push away those emotions, but I want you to let them exist in the body. And then we are going to move those emotions through them or through our body so that we can make space for our heart happy emotions like joy, worthiness, feeling loved, excitement. So bring awareness to that heart space, bring awareness to those emotions. And as we do, we can slowly release our hands from our heart space and take one hand and just start rubbing along the sternum. You can even kind of take your knuckles to your sternum, but just sort of warming up that heart space area. Making sure we get along the entire sternum, warming up the head space, and then start rubbing into the collarbone. And on the opposite side too. And then we're going to bring our fingers to our collarbone and just start tapping along our sternum, along our collarbone, again, for the purpose of bringing awareness to our heart space and our pericardium, our area around our space, around our heart, Tapping, bringing very gentle awareness. And one more time, down the sternum and along the collarbones. All right, if you feel like you need a little extra warmth or rubbing, feel free to do that. We are going to start to move those feet and move into a spinal roll. So taking the feet underneath the hips, we're going to take a breath in. On the breath, we're going to start to tuck our chin down, start to roll the shoulders forward. We're kind of caving the sternum into the heart, sort of hugging the heart here. I want you to roll forward, surrounding that upper back, and we're just going to pause here. Let your head hang heavy, and if it feels good to you, start to move side to side a little bit. We're folding at where our heart exists. along our spine and providing just a little extra movement there. When that feels complete, when it feels good, you can continue your roll. So continue to roll down, folding over your rib cage, folding over your diaphragm, over your abdomen, over the hips, and then let your whole body just roll down, folding over your legs, and taking a moment to pause at the bottom. Feel free to shake your head no, nod your head yes. And when you're ready, start to push the knees forward, start to push the hips forward, and very slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. And again, pausing at that heart space if that feels good to you. Maybe a little movement, a little bend side to side. And finishing out your roll. We're going to do that one more time. Take a breath in. Exhale, start to tuck the chin forward, roll the shoulders forward, rolling over that heart space and pausing for a moment. While we're here, if you notice any tension building up in your pelvic floor and your hips, just wiggle it out. And feel free to move side to side while bent at the heart. And then when that feels complete, continue your roll all the way down, allowing yourself to hang heavy at the bottom. Maybe shake the head no. Nod the head yes. And start to push the knees forward, push the hips forward. Start to roll back up one vertebrae at a time, very, very slowly. And again, pausing at the heart space. And then finishing out your roll up. All right. Very slowly, we're going to roll back down, but this time we're going to go all the way to the floor, down to our hands and knees. So take a breath in, tuck the chin down, roll the shoulders forward, slow roll all the way down. And coming to the floor. Come on to hands and knees. So on hands and knees, we're going to continue to move within the heart space. Okay, so I want you to think about moving the area right between your shoulder blades. So if you think about pushing your hands into the floor, you're going to feel your shoulder blades spread apart. This is the area that we want to focus on as we do this thoracic glide. For any of you that have done yoga, you might be familiar with the more cat-cow movement, moving through the whole spine. For today, I want you to think about maintaining your low back, your hips kind of in a neutral position, and we're just moving through the upper and mid back. So think the length of the rib cage. So from here, I want you to take a breath in, let your heart fall towards the floor. You'll feel that your shoulder blades sort of squeeze together. And then on the exhale, push your sternum up and think about pushing your sternum right through the middle of your shoulder blades. Let your head hang forward. And then inhale, let your sternum fall towards the floor. Let your heart feel heavy. And then exhale, push the sternum through the shoulder blades, spreading the shoulder blades apart. And feel free to continue here at your own pace, breathing in as your heart goes heavy towards the floor, exhaling as you push that sternum up through the middle of your shoulder blades. And again, remembering to just move through the ribs, through that heart space, the upper mid back. Very small, gentle movement here. And then after your last exhale, I want you to bring the spine back to a neutral position. From here, we're going to move even more through the rib cage. This time, we're going to move into a thoracic rotation. So moving that rib cage in a circle. So I want you to imagine your rib cage, right? It's kind of pointed towards the floor, but if it was in front of you, it would be moving in a circle. So my rib cage is pointing down, kind of moving in this motion. Just the rib cage moving in a circular motion. So we'll start on hands and knees. We'll let the heart go heavy towards the floor. Then just shifting your rib cage, shift to the right, and then push into the ground. Let your rib cage rotate over to the left. And then again, let your heart feel heavy come to the floor. Shift to the right, up towards the ceiling, over to the left, and down towards the floor. Now I want you to start to connect that together into a smooth circle. And again, with the goal of just simply trying to isolate the rib cage. We're not necessarily moving the whole body, just trying to move through the rib cage, through the heart space, keeping our attention on our heart. And then coming back to center, we're going to reverse that direction. So you're going to let the heart go heavy towards the floor, and then shift to the left, push into the ground, round your spine up towards the ceiling, and then shift to the right and let your heart feel heavy towards the floor. And again, shift to the left, towards the ceiling, to the right, and then drop towards the floor. Now put it together all in one smooth circle. And move slowly at your own pace. Just moving through that rib cage. Keeping the attention on the heart. And then taking one more rotation. And coming back to center. So as I mentioned earlier, when we feel our heart is heavy, when we're carrying a lot of burden in our heart space, we tend to feel that through our neck and shoulder. So do a little bit more shoulder work here. Thread the needle. We're going to move with our breath. So on hands and knees while we're here. We're going to take a breath in, neutral spine, and then exhale. We're going to reach your right arm underneath your left. Reach through. You're going to bring that shoulder and right ear towards the floor. And take a breath in. Exhale, left arm reaches underneath the right. Reach through, bring that ear to the floor. And breathe in, back to the middle. Exhale, right arm reaches underneath the left. Back to the middle. Inhale. Exhale, left underneath the right. Really reach. Think about reaching just a little further each time. Exhale, reach right under left. Inhale, left under right. Inhale, right under left. And inhale, left under right. Coming back to center, we're going to swing those feet around and come to a seated position. We're going to work a little bit more through the neck and shoulders. So from here, find both of your sits bones, wiggle it out. You're going to take your right hand, you're going to reach that hand behind your back. You're making like a little wing here. From here, we're going to take your left ear to left shoulder. So we're turning the head away from the arm behind our back. You should feel stretch through the upper trap here. Take a breath. And then slowly turn your head, look down at your left hand, left hip. And then very slowly rotate the head up, look towards the ceiling. And then look back down. So keeping that arm behind your back very slowly. Head is tilted to the left. And then rolling slowly down and up. And bring it back to center. Bring your head back to center. Release that arm behind you. Roll out your shoulders. And we'll go to the other side. So we'll take left arm behind the back, make a little wing. And we're going to take right ear to right shoulder. Take a breath. And then slowly start to turn the head down. Look down at either your right hand or your right hip. And then roll the head up slowly. You're going to look up towards the ceiling, almost if you're getting the back of your head to your shoulder. And then roll down. Continue at your own pace, very slowly, very gently, moving the head up and down. Bring the head back to center, and then bring the head up. Release your arm up from behind you, and roll out the shoulders. All right, we're going to come onto the floor, laying on our side. One of my favorite exercises, the arm sweeps. And in this movement, we're going to be opening up the chest, the thoracic spine. But I want you to focus in on opening up your heart and opening up your heart to whatever emotions have been feeling heavy. This is where we open them up to set them free, and we create an opportunity for more loving and positive emotions to enter our heart. So very slowly roll onto your back. We're going to pull both knees into your chest and roll onto your side. So on your side, you're going to keep your knees stacked, keep your hips stacked, and then your shoulders are going to stack one on top of the other. Hands are stacked. You can lay your head on the floor if that feels comfortable. We're going to take a breath in. You're going to reach your top hand, just slide it forward. And then you're going to exhale, sweep the arm up and over as you open up your chest and bring the arms wide open into a T. Opening up the heart space. Being brave to be vulnerable. And reach back through the middle. Reach through. Breathe in. Exhale, draw a big arch over the head. Open up the arms into a T. Open up the chest. And we'll take one more arm sweep on this side. So reach back through the middle. Big inhale, reach forward. And then exhale, sweep up and over. Doing your best to keep the knees, the hips aligned. Open up that chest. And then reaching back through the middle. Go ahead and pull those legs back to center. Pull them into your chest. And you're going to roll over to the other side. I'll swivel around so that you can see me. And then roll onto your side. Same thing. Stack the knees, stack the hips. Shoulders, hands are stacked. You can let your head rest on the floor if that feels comfortable. Reach forward. Inhale. And exhale, sweep up and over. Open up the chest. You might notice a difference from one side to the other. And that is totally normal. But as a reminder, we're not judging. We're not trying to change anything. Just notice. Reach back through the middle. Reach forward. Inhale. Exhale, sweep up and over. Opening up our heart space. Welcoming in joy, worthiness, love, care. Reach back through the middle. Inhale and exhale. Open up. And coming back through the middle. Nice work. Go ahead, bring your knees back to center. Give yourself a good hug. And then very slowly roll back onto your side and come back to a seated position. So in seated position, we are going to do a visualization exercise. It's a very symbolic exercise. It's one of my favorite exercises for the heart, for caring for the heart. So what we're going to do is, again, find our sits bones and kind of ground ourselves through our sits bones. And then we're going to imagine that we have this beautiful body of water around us. And if you prefer to kind of imagine yourself like on a float or like on a little mini island, and then there's just water around you or water just in front of you, however makes no sense to you, please do so. There is no right or wrong here. And in this body of water is very nourishing words, very nourishing emotions, very nourishing feelings. Whatever is nourishing to your heart is what you can find in this water. So very slowly we are going to scoop into our water, and then we are going to give that nourishment to our heart. Okay, so anytime that you feel your heart is in need of nourishment, you can practice this exercise. So go ahead and place both hands over your heart. Again, bringing awareness to our heart space. And maybe think through a couple of things that you need, that your heart is in need of. It can be, relationships, nourishing relationships, maybe nourishing food, nourishing movement. Maybe you need hope, you need kindness, you need care. You need worthiness, joy, happiness. And I want you to take your hands slowly away from your heart to kind of shape a cup in front of you. So imagine your hands being a little cup or a bowl, and you're going to swoop down into that water, and then you're going to bring that right back to your heart. And then you're going to, again, Release your hands from your heart into a cup. You're going to swoop down. And if you can incorporate a little bit of that little spinal roll down, even better. And swoop up whatever it is that you need. And when you're ready, again, swoop down into your water and swoop in joy. Swoop in love. Swoop in self-compassion. And these are my words. You can swoop in whatever you need. Swoop in friendships. Swoop in play. Swoop in peace. One more time. Swoop in self-love. Whatever it is that your heart needs today, scoop it in from your nourishing body of water and place it in your heart. Very slowly, you can take your hands from your heart and make your way to standing. Take your time. Take as long as possible to make your way up. And we're just going to finish with a little body scan. Just like we started class. So taking a breath in. Exhale, feel free to close your eyes. And then bring your attention to the soles of your feet. Just noticing where you carry your weight. Has it shifted from the beginning of class, or is it still the same? Bringing attention to the lower legs, the shins, the calves. And then to the knees. Bringing the attention to the thighs, where your thighs meet your hip at the hip joint. Bringing awareness to your pelvis. What do you feel? Wrapping around the back to the SI joint, follow that spine all the way up. What do you notice? Wrapping your attention around your rib cage into that heart space. How does it feel? Take a breath in and exhale. Bringing the attention to your shoulders, your collarbone, your shoulder blades, your shoulder joint. How do your shoulders feel? How do your shoulders sit in relation to your rib cage? How does your rib cage sit in relation to your spine, to your pelvis? Bring the attention up into the neck, the head. What do you notice? And then lastly, bringing the attention to that area above the head, your head space. How does it feel in relation to the rest of your body? How does it feel in relation to when we started class? And then take your left hand over your heart space and right hand over your left. And take a moment to thank yourself for showing up for your heart, for acknowledging your emotions, for welcoming in new emotions that are supportive to your heart, for supporting your heart from a functional standpoint and also a well-being standpoint. Thank you so much for joining me for this class. Again, I'm Coach Danny, and I thank you so much for joining me for Restorative Movement class focused on the heart. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please leave me a comment. Let me know if you enjoyed it and what other restorative movement classes you would like for me to focus on next. All right, thank you so much, everyone that joined. I really appreciate your time and you being here, and I hope to see you at the next class. Have a great evening.